Yeah, I agree as well. I think that it was a really good race last year, and it was a really good race this year. So I'm starting to think the circuit, although it's had some critics, is actually a pretty good racetrack because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, Cameron and Toby, the weekend was completely overshadowed by controversy on and off the track. We won't dwell on the stuff off the track too much, but on the track, it's the track has been criticised for being too narrow and as well as being really quick, so it doesn't really make for a good combination. Do you think this weekend, the Mick Schumacher crash, do you think that has almost dented the track's reputation long term now?
I don't think so, personally. Obviously, it was a big crash, and it's good to see that Mick is okay now. And then obviously there was Nicholas Latifi crashing as well. But I think that's maybe just two small factors, because there's obviously other tracks which are quite narrow and high speed as well. And obviously they will have crashes throughout the season. So I don't think you can blame the track and the narrowness, because although there were the accidents, I think it also adds that excitement as well with the difficulty that the drivers have to adjust to, and they do really well. So in my opinion, you can't falter the track narrowness just because of the one or two crashes. But maybe that's just my kind of feeling on the overall thing.
Cameron, do you agree?
Yeah, I think that overall the racing will outweigh the potential risks. And I think the way that F1 is moving towards more street circuits, Saudi is a perfect example of that. And it's proven to be an excellent racetrack, really, in terms of on a Sunday, and even in qualifying, it's been pretty spectacular. So I think that crashes are part of F1. And I think the risk is part of F1. And I think the drivers that are best sort of prepared to deal with that risk succeed, and that's what the sport's all about. So I think it tests the drivers, and I think it's here to stay.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. They've signed a huge deal with Saudi Arabia, although they've got another track planned. It's whether they stay at this one for a little bit longer. I thought the problem is I think the track is too narrow because it is such a quick circuit, but it has thrown up in the space of 100 odd days two of the best races we've seen over the last 2 seasons. I think you're both right in some respects that it's producing good racing, so why would F1 change, really? But the safety factor is something they'll have to consider, because that Mick Schumacher crash was huge, and thankfully he's all right. I mean, obviously the Latifi crashing, and then there was plenty of incidents last season, so we'll just have to wait and see on what they decide with the track going into it. But on the race itself, Max Verstappen stormed to victory, but he left it late, lads. Was there a little while where you thought Leclerc might hang on?
I did, but then again, when I saw the pace of Checo, I kind of expected Max to come through at some point. And I think the fact that Max did come through and we saw another clean battle really emphasised the kind of the successfulness of the race itself.
Yeah, as well, I'd echo the fact that I think Charles had the pace, but I think Red Bull's straight line speed was just too good, really. I think obviously Leclerc had the advantage in the first sector, and then Verstappen was quicker in the last 2 sectors. And I think that if Leclerc had a bit extra pace on the start-finish line straight, then I think he would have re-overtaken Verstappen, but he just didn't quite have it. I must say that I think, Verstappen was well worthy.
Yeah, Red Bull looked good all weekend, but it was a point on Friday and Saturday where it looked like Ferrari really were the team to beat. But fair play to Red Bull, I think they've pulled it back really well. And what I found most impressive about Red Bull is it's not just their speed through the corners. They seem to have the quickest car in a straight line as well, which has maybe not been the case in recent years.
Yeah, they definitely have the quickest car in a straight line. I think Adrian Newey was talking about it before the race, and it's clearly something they focused on. Deficit they had to Mercedes last season, so they've definitely worked on it, and they now do have the quickest car in a straight line. And it showed, because Leclerc simply couldn't, match Verstappen's pace on the straights.
Michael, have you got No, Mike, that was so not right. Get in there, Lewis. George Russell, qualified Mr. Hamilton.